Hey friends, how's it going? Good afternoon. I thought today I'd take you on a ride with me, just for people that haven't seen my channel or haven't, seen the R1250 RS too much or know a lot about it. Those that have been following me along, this is not probably going to be extremely insightful to you. But I got both my cameras on today. I've got my Insta360 here in front of me and my GoPro 9 on my chin guard. I normally don't use my GoPro except for test rides, which I did about almost a couple of weeks ago now at BMW. They had the demo days, so I rode about 4 different bikes and used this camera. So go check that out if you haven't seen it already. But for my normal vlogging and riding around, I normally use my Insta360 just because I like the versatility of being able to change the camera angles and face me and face the street. Whereas obviously with the GoPro, you're kind of restricted to that forward view, but you do get the cockpit, and that's something you kind of miss out on most of my moto vlogging with the Insta360. It doesn't capture any of the cockpit. So we're just going to go for a little ride down the street here. Maybe pick up some sounds of the bike and the cockpit and some of the switch gear and things that I use, how I feel on the bike, all those good things. So this is more for people that are really interested in the R1250 RS as a possible new bike or second bike or fifth bike or however many bikes you got, just to give you a little bit of feedback. All right, so let's get this powered up. So this does not have a key, it's keyless ride. Just press the power button. Okay, and this also has a security lock on it, so if you turn this way, turn the bike off, and then press and hold it, I don't know if you'll hear it, but it'll lock the front forks and handlebars in place. Listen, see if you can hear it. Okay, so it's locked now. So now that's it, the bars won't move. To unlock, you just press it and it unlocks, and then you can boop. All right, so let's get this power on again, and here comes the lovely TFT, which is in the world of motorcycling, I think BMW definitely has the best TFTs around. They're just amazing. Nice size, super clear, and any sun shining on, whatever, and not overloaded with stuff you don't need. And it has this amazing whiz wheel here with the menu. You can make options and choose things on the fly. So I have it set up now that my tire pressure is on the top here. So front tire is at 35.9, rear tire is 42.3 psi. I've got it in Dynamic Pro mode, which is over here is the modes. So if you hit the mode down, you get Dynamic Pro, Rain, Road, Dynamic, and Dynamic Pro. And I always ride in Dynamic Pro just so I have full access to the throttle and all the fun stuff. Dynamic Pro allows you to go into the menu deeper. So if you use this menu button here and go down, it'll bring you into My Vehicle, and then you can use this whiz wheel and push it to the right, and you can go through different settings here, tire pressure, etc., service requirements. If we go back and go up one, so we got navigation, media, telephone, and settings. Let's go down on that one. Vehicle settings. Push the whiz wheel over to the right. Now you get into the Dynamic Pro riding modes. So you can kind of clip that over there, and you can change your settings for throttle response on the engine, dynamic traction control. So you can go over here, and then you can turn the whiz wheel this way, and it will change this. Okay, so this one is optimized for maximum stability. Wheelie is suppressed. If you go one more, optimized for high stability, wheelie suppressed. You go one more, optimized for maximum performance, light wheelie pop. Okay, so the traction control is kind of at its lowest intervention point here, and that's usually how I have it. Let's go to engine, This is setting for direct throttle response, for optimum throttle response, and for gentle throttle response. So if you put it on this one, this is kind of like the rain mode. The throttle is going to be a little squishy. So I always have it set on dynamic there. But you can independently switch those in that dynamic pro mode, and the other modes you can't. They're kind of locked in place. Let's get out of here. I'm not going to go over all these settings here. Okay, so press up, and now we're back to the screen. Some of the newer bikes, I think 2022, possibly, this also came with a sport screen, which has a tachometer and lean angles and stuff like that to replace this screen. I mean, you can have both, but I don't have that, and I'm not going to have it because you'd have to do a firmware update, which would mess up the tune I have on the bike. So I'm just going to stick with it the way I have it now. I like this. This is fine. So we have temperature down here in the left corner, time of the day down in the right corner. Again, your tire pressure across the top, what mode you're in, your tachometer. This bike red lines at 9,000 RPM. Your speed, and then high beams. I always ride with those just so people see me. And ABS over here, and any kind of engine faults, things would be flashing over here. And then also in the center, like it would give you a warning. Like for example, when I'm low on gas, it'll pop up a screen and say, gas low, head to the gas station or something like that. Then over here on the left side of the switch gear, we've got that menu button we were using and the wheel. Got ABS, so you can change the riding mode down here on dynamic or road as in terms of the suspension on the fly. So I always have it in dynamic mode. If I'm on a back country road, it's a little bumpy, I will put it on road just to soften it up a little bit. But you have that option there. These are the left and right blinkers on one side. I know some motorcycles like Harley, they have the blinkers, like the right blinkers on the right switch gear and the left is over here. Up here we've got the cruise control, so you just slide it to the side to turn it on. When it's on, push this little nub here forward to set it, pull it back to resume, or once it's engaged, if you push it forward you'll speed up, pull it back you slow down. It's pretty intuitive. So that's all that on that side. This side you've got the start and stop button, the mode button, and heated grip button right here behind that, and of course the throttle, brake, front brake up here. Very nice, easy to use clutch, very soft clutch, very easy to squeeze. This has a quick shifter, so I don't use the clutch a whole lot, just from first to second to third sometimes. That's about it. The rest of it's downshifting, and upshifting is usually using the quick shifter. This bike did come with a GPS unit that was screwed into here, and it's for the GPS unit that you can get for this bike. I did not use it, don't like it, so I removed it, got new bolts for it, and painted them black. So I think these look cool. A lot of people, and I would suggest if you want a GPS unit, you get the aftermarket setup that would put the GPS unit here, up in front of you here, and it would be above the TFT, which is a lot easier to see. Okay, I think that's it. Let's get the bike started. So the kickstand has to be up to start the bike. If it's in first gear, clutch in. I've already got the power on. Start button's right here. Okay, this is a boxer engine, so on startup, the bike tends to pull to the left a little bit, but very, very slightly. It's kind of hard to feel. On that big cruiser that BMW makes, that R1800, when you turn that one on, those cylinder heads are so big, those cans in there, that the bike really pulls to the left. You can feel it. So that's it. We're all set to go. These flashing lights here, ABS, and the attention light, those will shut off once you get underway. And it finishes doing its job of checking out all the systems. All right, so let's get out of here. Get some fresh air. It's 79 degrees. It's very comfortable. Nice and dry, sunny day. coming? Nope. Let's go. Whee! Okay, so on my bike is not stock, so this is going to be a little different if you get a brand new bike that's stock. I have akrapovic open headers, so I've gotten rid of the cat. I still have the valve inside, so it's not as loud, and I have the titanium black akrapovic slip-on, which has the baffle still inside. So this bike is not incredibly loud. It is louder than stock, and if I get on the bike, it will get a little louder. But just on startup, it's quite tame. It's not obnoxious at all. So let me just get on it a little bit and see if you can hear the engine. Let me get past this car here. So that's kind of what it sounds like when you get on it. This bike has 136 horsepower and 105 foot-pounds of torque out of the box. I've also got a tune from BT Moto, or Bren Tune as it's known. I think that's the only company that can actually tune this bike and keep your bike still under warranty in the US anyways. I'm not sure about other places. My bike is a 2020, so the warranty is already over. So I really don't need to worry about that. And that Brent Tune really opens this bike up. And you know, it's just like a whole new bike for me. So for 3 years I rode this bike under warranty without a tune, and then when the warranty was up, I got the headers and the tune, and it was like having a whole new bike. This bike is definitely faster, it runs better, it idles better, it shifts better. It's so nice. I really love that tune. As far as seating position, ergonomics, kind of the bars, as you can see, these are what I like to call kind of pseudo clip-on. They're not clipped onto the triple tree, but they are angled, and the grips themselves are kind of placed into these tubes here, if you will. So you are leaned over a little bit, and that's what gives this bike its nice kind of sporty look. This is kind of one of the major designated sport touring bikes from BMW, along with the RT, the GS to some degree, even though that's categorized as an adventure bike. Lots of people tour with that, and it does have the same engine as this. So as far as power goes and ripping through the twisties, it's going to be similar. Of course, you're just sitting upright on a GS and not leaned over like this one. I have a aftermarket seat, so again, this bike is not going to compare to stock. And let me back up a little bit. So with that tune, I've never had this dyno tested, so I don't know, but I would imagine that this, with the headers, the pipe, and the tune, I probably squeezed an extra 10 horsepower out of this, maybe 8, somewhere around there, and a little bit more torque. So with that in mind, just talking about horsepower and torque, this bike kind of lives 0 to 100 miles an hour to 80, maybe 80 miles an hour. It's its real sweet spot. It's got a lot of torque. It gets up to speed really fast. It pulls really hard, so when you get on the throttle, it pushes you back in the seat, which is quite fun, and gets you up to speed very quickly. So you can, merging on the highway, or if someone in a car is getting kind of close to you, you don't want to be around other cars and vehicles, you can disappear them very quickly by just jamming on this throttle and taking off. Horsepower wise, the power delivery on this bike is low to mid-range. The high end, it kind of flattens out after about 80 to 100 miles an hour. This bike just kind of makes incremental speed. So I think the top end on this with my tune would probably be about 145, 140, somewhere around there. So it's not like 170, 180, 200 miles an hour like some of these super sport bikes that make their power on the high end. So those bikes, you gotta kind of wind those out. So off the line, those bikes are not that impressive in terms of like pushing you back in the seat as hard as a bike that has a lot of torque. But within a few moments, those sport bikes, super sport bikes, will disappear me. I mean, they will fly by me, and I couldn't keep up with them. But that's on a straight line. When you're in the twisties, all that power on like a leader bike doesn't make a whole lot of difference. It's really down to the rider and how good they are on their bike, how proficient a rider they are. So you can take even this is a 1250cc engine. You could take a sport bike that's a 600 that because it's lighter than this, and if you got a rider that's better than me, they would destroy me on the twisties. So you just got to think about why you're buying the bike. What kind of riding you're gonna do. Are you going on the highway and doing long haul, munching miles? Or you're gonna do some twisty riding? Or you're just gonna commute around town? All those variables come into play when you're picking a bike, obviously. So let's see. Let's go back to ergonomics. So the bars, yes, you are leaned over a little bit. I have to remind myself on occasion to relax my shoulders and just kind of grip the tank with my legs more. And it's quite comfortable. I enjoy it. I could do this bike maybe 2.5 hours straight before I really need to get off and take a break. My back starts to have some issues, but that's unique to me. I'm an older guy, and I do have a previous kind of back injury, so there's that. I do have an aftermarket seat, so I have a Sargent seat, which has dropped the seating position on this bike down by 1.5 inches or so. Previous to that, I had the balls of my feet on the ground. I was not completely flat-footed, but had enough of my balls of my feet and everything on the ground that I felt comfortable. It's just that the stock seat was kind of digging into my butt, and after an hour and a half or so, my butt would start getting numb, and I'd have to kind of move around a lot to try and get rid of that sensation. Again, that's unique to me, and the position of your pelvis bones and how big your butt is and all that good stuff come into play. But this Sargent seat I love. I can ride this, like I said, 2.5 hours, and it has nothing to do with my butt. It's my back that gives out first. So this seat is really, really nice. I'm 5'8" with about a 30-inch inseam, so if that gives you any kind of measurement in your mind, if you're 5'8" or more, this bike's no problem for you. If you're less than 5'8", 5'6", no problem. 5'7", 5, all the way down. All right. Oh, sorry about the little interruption there. But yeah, I mean, if you're on your tiptoes on this bike, it's still doable. You just gotta. If you're a smaller rider, you're just gonna be accustomed to how do you ride a bike that's tall. So. But I will say this is definitely not nearly as tall as a GS or some of the other bikes that BMW makes. The seat height is lower than the sport bikes they have, and it's lower than the GS. So definitely kind of ideal for someone that's a little bit shorter. If you're taller, I would go with the taller seat and maybe even lower the foot pegs a little bit to accommodate your frame. So you can't do that with this bike. Alright, so this red thing in the middle here means I forgot to turn off the cruise control, so just turn that off. Alright, off we go. Not that I was on a hill there, but this does have hill start assist, and what that means is when you're on a hill, either going down or up, you can lock the brakes by squeezing. You basically just squeeze the front brake in really hard and let it go. And I'll do it at this light here. You can engage it anytime you want, really, on any flat surface, incline, whatever. So let's I'll do that here once I get up to the light. So you can see the little icon that pops up. So just squeeze it in tight, let it go, and that green icon right there pops up. That's hill start assist. The bike will not move at all. If you can see me, I'm kind of pushing it. It won't move until you let go of the clutch and engage some throttle. It'll let go and be on your way. So it can be helpful on steep hills, but I've had this disengage on me. See, it just shut off by itself there, and I didn't do anything. So I don't really trust it. I know lots of other people have commented when I've talked about this, oh, I love it, it works fine for me. But as you just saw there, I didn't do anything. I didn't let go of the clutch, I didn't touch the throttle, and it disengaged. Done that to me on a couple times on hills where I rolled back and I had to quick, throw my foot up and grab the rear brake. So on hills, I just do the old-fashioned way. I just engage the rear brake, left foot down on the ground, first gear, and then I just, go forward and let the rear brake off as I pick up momentum. So that's how I do that. Let's see what else. Seating position. We went over the power. So now just the subjective things. I mean, I love this bike. I only have this one bike, and I don't really see a need for another one. I know some of my friends have multiple bikes, and that's awesome. And if I had more money, I'd probably join the club. But this bike just fits everything. I like sport bikes. I like cruisers. I just like all kinds of motorcycles. But for what I like to do, the torque on this bike is so fun. With this new seat, the bike is very comfortable for a couple hours. Just get off and take a little rest, get back on. I can ride this all day. The seating position I like. It just all around, it fits all my needs. So one thing I saw posted on Instagram recently, someone was asking a question, or maybe it was Facebook actually, I think. Someone was asking a question about this windscreen and how do you pull it up when you're moving along here. So unfortunately this does not have a handle. It's not electric, so you have to manually do it, but there's no handle to manually do it. So it's kind of weird. I don't know. BMW, the RT and the K1600, they have electric. They have a button you push and the windscreen will go up and down. And the GS and the other bikes, they have a little lever on the side that's, let's see. This is where the cruise control comes in handy when I want to take my hand up. So usually like right here, they'll have a little lever and you just push it down and the screen will pop up. This doesn't have that. So you're left, when you're riding, is just grab this here and yank it up. I'm not going to do it because it's going to hit my Insta360. I just disengaged the cruise control by rolling the throttle forward. I didn't have to touch this at all. You just kind of push the throttle forward a little bit and it'll disengage it. But anyways, yeah, there's no way to get this up unless you grab it and yank it up. And to be completely 100% honest with you, this windscreen is aftermarket, but it's the same size. It's a Puig racing screen. It's the same size as the stock screen, basically. It just has a tiny little bit different shape. I just like the smoke look, so I got that. Looks a lot better on the bike. But if you pull this up, it creates really bad head buffeting, so I never pick it up. And I also don't like the way the bike looks as you get these windscreens to pop up and get higher. It takes away from the sporty look of it. Now, because I motovlog, I need to keep clean air around my head, otherwise you wouldn't be able to hear me. It'd be a bunch of noisy wind mess and stuff. So I bought this little wind spoiler or wind diverter on Amazon for like $30. It was $34, whatever it was. Real cheap. I've had it for years now, and it does a wonderful job of making all this air around my head very clean. And that's how I do that. Now if I was not motovlogging, I would not have this. I would be fine with letting the wind hit me in the face. That's okay. With this screen down, there's no head buffeting. It just has wind just hitting your helmet. But again, with this up, see if you can, I don't know if it'll hit. Oh, there we go, it didn't hit. So that's with it up. I can't reach it, but if you do snake your hands down in here, there's this crossbar here that holds this together. You can put your hand in there and pull on that to pull it up, but when you're riding the motorcycle, see, I can barely reach that. If you're taller, longer arms, you probably could, but that's not very safe. There should be a lever here, or electric, but electric is just one more thing that could break, so I would be cool with just a little lever right here. going back to what I said before, it doesn't really matter because I would never pop it up anyways because of the wind buffeting. Now if you're taller, you know, if you're or something like that, you know, your head position, maybe it's not going to be bad for you, or maybe it'll be okay for you, who knows. But that's this guy on Facebook was asking about that, like how do you pull it up when you're riding. Now when you're going, I would say under 50 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour, something like that, you can grab this and pull it up with your one hand if you want to. But once I found, when I first bought this bike and I was experimenting, when you're on the highway, you're going 60 or 70 miles an hour, the wind pressure on this screen, it will not let you pull it up. It's very hard to pull up. You have to really yank it, and it kind of makes it, you know, precarious while you're riding. If you've got one arm off and you're, especially if you're right-handed, you got your right hand off the throttle, your strong hand to pop up your windscreen. This gas tank is about, it's 4.7 gallons, I believe. And that, if I fill it up to the tippity top, that normally gets me about 220 miles, 230, somewhere around there. So it's got really good range, especially if you're, you know, on the back roads or on roads there's no stop signs or red lights, and you just, you know, can cruise. You get better gas mileage. So this bike definitely has a decent sized tank for having fun. Let me change. If you push this menu button up, it changes the very top portion of this, so you can see it goes through, but this stays the same. So it's tire pressure, fuel. Again, it has a visual fuel. I don't know why you need that, but how many miles on the bike. So I just broke 30,000 miles on this bike, so I definitely ride it. I bought this brand new. I've had it for, you know, since 2020, so I put quite a bit of miles on it, over 7,000 a year. And back to the tire pressure. So I've got 72 miles in the tank. Once it gets to 40, I think it's around 49. If it goes under 50, somewhere in there, I'm not sure exactly where, between 40 and 50, this big yellow warning will pop up on the screen and tell you that you're low on fuel, and that's kind of your reserve. So you have, from the time it tells you you're low on fuel, you have about, you know, anywhere from 40 to 50 miles left in the tank. So you best, you know, get to a gas station. So I don't know if I have enough memory on my GoPro here to get us. I'm heading towards some kind of twistier roads, and I was going to take you through there, but I'm not sure if I can make it. I might run out of memory here, and I have both these cameras synced, so I can't really shut them off at this point. So I don't know, just in preemptive goodbye in case the battery goes out. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something. And you know, any questions, post them below. If you're serious about buying an RS and you want to know something else I didn't cover, you know, throw it down there and I'll definitely get back to you. Thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. So let's just go down here. We're just about 5 minutes away from some twisty roads. This bike came with Metzler tires, which I don't know, I got about 10,000 miles out of them. I probably should have switched. Whoops. I should have switched them out long before, but they were really rounded or squared off by the time I got rid of them. They seemed okay, but the last two sets of tires I've gone through are the Michelin Road 6s, and I really enjoy those. They're very good in the rain. I've only been in the rain a few times, and that was not by choice. I don't think most people ride in the rain by choice, but I got caught out a little far from home, and it was supposed to be a nice sunny day like this, and you know, I don't know, Texas is just notorious for with the weather switching the drop of a hat. but they're really good in the rain. They're grippy, very good tires, and I get good mileage out of them. So that's the tires I run on this bike. All right, so this road here is 2769. This is the southern portion of the loop that would be Lime Creek Road. So right above us, north of us, is Lime Creek Road, which is where all the a lot of sport cars and people that are into racing go. That road is very, very technical and twisty, and that's just north of us and connects to this, so it makes one big loop. This is not very technical. It's just a little curvy. It's fun though, and I'm just gonna watch out for these cars here. Wow, usually there's nobody back here during the day. It's 1:30 in the afternoon. Guess it's some lunch people. This is a nice road in the summer though. We got all this tree coverage, so the temperatures in here are a little bit lower. If you're out on your bike on one of those 100+ degree Texas summer days, it's kind of nicer to come in through here. So this bike is very nimble with the cylinder heads being down low there. The boxer engine, the center of gravity is low, so it's very easy to flick this bike around. Very nimble. Unfortunately, I've got this bus and car in front of me, so can't really get too aggressive here. But yeah, this bike is a lot of fun in the twisties. Now, rumor has it that eventually the new engine for the GS, which is the 1300 boxer engine, will make its way to the other boxers like the RS, this bike, and possibly the RT, which is the kind of police motorcycle, if you will. That would be very cool because it's a little bit faster, but it's a completely redesigned engine. And the main thing I'm concerned with, or looking forward to, I should say, is that the new engine has a totally redesigned transmission, which is supposed to be a lot smoother than this one in terms of the quick shifter. So when you use the bike's stock quick shifter, it's quite clunky when you switch gears, especially at the lower range, like second to third or first to second. It lurches the bike forward and kind of gives you it rattles you. It's not very smooth. But with the tune I got for this bike, that kind of smoothed out quite a bit, so that's nice. So if you go straight here, you'll end up hooking up to that Lime Creek Road, which I'm not going to take you on now. That's too technical for me to talk to you and ride that at the same time. Okay, standing up, bump in the road, woo! Alright, this is called Bullock Road, and this is a fun little road. This goes up to the Oasis restaurant, which is, I don't know, has some kind of world record. I think it's supposed to be the largest restaurant in Texas or America or something. I don't know, because it's got multiple floors. It is pretty big, but people go there typically to watch the sunset. It's built on the side of a mountain, or kind of large hill, if you will, overlooking Lake Travis. So it's a nice place to go to look at the sunset. I don't know what else we talk about. The rear view mirrors are very nice. They don't vibrate too much. I took the bar ends that came with this bike. I removed them. They were just black. They were solid steel, very heavy. And I replaced them with a light aluminum smaller bar ends that have a red stripe, because I like to have the red accents on my bike. And I don't feel a problem at all. I thought initially maybe removing those, the bars would start to vibrate a lot more, but they really don't, just a little bit. But nothing like, they don't numb my hands or anything like that. There's a nice view from up here. So that's something I always thought I was gonna, if I went for a really long ride, I'd probably put the old bar ends back on just in case. But I did go out for a 5-hour ride out to the Twisted Sister, and no problem, so I'm just keeping them. And those are puig bar ends right there. I don't know if you can see those. But a really cool thing about this engine, it's got the shift cam technology, which depending on your input, the cam will shift to a larger or smaller size, which in turn will push the valve up higher or lower depending on what you're allowing the bike to do. So if you're in, like right now I'm in 3rd gear, I'll go into 4th gear, and I could be riding in 3rd gear right now, which would give me an advantage if I want to jam on the throttle. Right now the bike's kind of bogging, it's a little bit squishy because it's in a 4th gear. But if you just lay in the throttle right now, the shift cam will change in a fraction of a second. You don't even feel it, and will give you more fuel mixture and more power, and you can take off. Whereas most bikes, you would definitely need to downshift to get that power, whereas this one it just doesn't. It really I just got a phone call, sorry. It really depends on the input of what you're doing with the bike, and it'll just take off. It's pretty cool. That's a very good technology. Text messages. So I'm going to go up here to the restaurant and turn around, or maybe I'll take a right, see if I have enough video. I'll take you down this hippie hollow place. It's a very short road, but it's pretty cool. Oh, the tune I got, it also smoothed out the engine braking on this. The engine brake on this was, when you let off the throttle and you're in a lower gear, it would really severely slow the bike down, like big time. And a lot of times I was like, geez, I'm just trying to glide here a little bit to the red light or something, coast. All right, so this goes down to a beach that's on the lake called Hippie Hollow, and I think it's a nude beach, or it used to be anyways. So you gotta be careful, there's sand in the road. There we go. See, that's a nice view right there. Too bad I can't look at it. There's a lot of nice roads around here like this. You just have to be careful because you come around a corner and they're doing construction, and there's like a pile of gravel or sand or something like that. Lake up in front of us, but you can see it's probably too far away for the camera for you to actually see what I'm seeing, but the lake is really down low. It's missing a lot of water. Yep. Up here is what is this called? Yeah, Hippie Hollow Park. So now this turns into a residential area. So there's a lot of homes here. Some nice homes that are right on the lake. Hello. I'm doing fine. How are you? I'm just gonna turn around, head out. I gotta stop right here and turn my camera off. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay, thank you.